Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for watching. Thank you. Yes, we have already seen the D-Day. The D-Day, the D-Day is tomorrow. 14 is the D-Day. We have seen the mobilization. We have seen everything that the leaders, activists. So tomorrow, please, tomorrow is a D-Day. We are expecting people from all over, all four corners of America to make it tomorrow. We have seen the manipulation. We have seen all types of things that the Biya regime is trying to do to cajole the American government that they are okay. But we have to push hard to tell them that Amazonians are not people who will shy away. Okay? We have to tell them that. We have to come tomorrow en masse. Tell them that no amount of threat, no amount of manipulation will scare us from our objective. So tomorrow, please, it's a special day. A special day. Yes. I want to see everybody. Tomorrow, Wednesday, tomorrow, Wednesday, 14th of December, 2022. It's a very special day. We have seen how some gullible paid agents of La Republique went and was marching. They went and welcomed the old and rugged dictator. 40 years in power but nothing to show. They went and welcomed him. And then we talk of issues that were already in place, right? It's very sad. It's very sad for us to see that the U.S. ambassador, for Cameroon, the U.S. ambassador to Cameroon, was saying that the Cameroon conflict in Amazonia can only be solved by dialogue, not military force. But this is just what they have been saying all along the years. They only make comments, comments on comments, but no action. If at all they really want to ask Biya to follow this, why not give sanction? I think sanction is the only way that they can do, because why do you give him all this time? All this time, all this leeway. Why only him? He has had all the opportunities to dialogue. The Swiss-led negotiation that every country, all the organizations supported, he quit. He went to Canada. Canada has nothing to do with negotiation. He tricked some guys who thought that they can go and get something from Canada. They went to Canada. Nothing came from Canada. Nothing came from Canada. So we are saying this because there's a lot of things going on, and people think that La Republique is very cunning. Yes, it's a very cunning place. They will do everything to manipulate. Yes, we know we have been with them, so we know them very well. We know how they can do their things. They don't like things that is straight. That's why they thought that by now they would defeat us with their corrupt practices and all those corner, manipulation, corruption, embezzlement, all those things that they are doing. But they fail. But we are calling on the international community and America in particular. You cannot invite a dictator like this, then other countries that don't even have any dictator, they are change of state, but just because they were against France, America said they were not invited. Mali was not invited. Burkina Faso was not invited. This is a country that has been plagued by civil war, and coup d'etat. But because they went against France, now they become the bad guys. Then they allowed the oldest dictators to sit there, but they did not allow people who are fighting for their own good governance in their country, like Mali, Burkina Faso. They said they are illegal government. So the public should understand that only dialogue will solve the problem. As the U.S. ambassador has said it, if they think that they will use that their military guys there to subdue our people, then they are lying. Okay, they will get tired. Okay, how many years did America fight the war in Afghanistan and had to abandon it? See the amount of machinery that they abandoned in Afghanistan. How about the one that they abandoned in Vietnam? The amount of machinery they abandoned in Vietnam. Okay. But we are saying here about this issue because La Republic don't want to go to the negotiation table. We are calling on the international community to think of sanctions. You cannot leave dictators to go to this kind of summit like the one in USA now, when first America already gave these guys visa ban. Okay, they gave these guys, most of those guys, they had visa ban. What is you giving someone visa ban, but you still allow the president to come to your country? Yeah. Most of the guys, these ministers who are using this crisis to get rich, were part of that ban. Let me play this. You see this, because this one is the United Nations, right? The UN is asking the Cameroon government to go for negotiation table without precondition.
We also call on all parties to respect international humanitarian law and international human rights law as applicable, as well as the protections they provide. The situation in Cameroon warrants immediate action from all parties, including the African Union and regional heads of state. As this month is about doing and not just talking, I want to briefly list a few helpful steps that could be taken to restore a measure of stability. We urge UNOCA and our partners to take a more assertive role in resolving Cameroon's conflict, and to continue to urge both the government of Cameroon and separatist group to enter into open-ended dialogue without preconditions, relinquishing their focus on a military solution. We also fully support the Swiss-led mediation process between the government of Cameroon and the separatists, and we urge both sides to take concrete actions to move the initiative forward. SRSG fall the
You heard? Without precondition. If La Republic was not this heady or strong-head, why don't they go to the negotiation table? They believe that they can win a war like this only by killing our people. Then they think that now they realize that that Grand Zero, if they don't touch the oil and the source, they were there trying to do all those their things, but at the end of the day, let me play this one. Biya, listen to what Biya said in this is first opener.
Permettez-moi tout d'abord de remercier le président des États-Unis, M. Joe Biden, qui a bien voulu convier ses homologues africains à ce deuxième sommet des dirigeants des États-Unis et de l'Afrique. Je tiens également à remercier M. Michael Clouden et Paul Hicks pour leur invitation à la présente table ronde privée. L'ordre du jour nous invite à réfléchir sur comment la finance peut constituer un atout à l'égard des défis pressants et des opportunités de l'Afrique et contribuer à la résolution de problèmes apparemment sans solution à l'échelle mondiale. C'est un sujet d'actualité au regard de la situation actuelle de l'économie mondiale et des effets des crises sanitaires et sécuritaires sur nos économies nationales. L'un des freins au développement de l'économie africaine est l'épineux problème de la disponibilité des financements. Pourtant, l'Afrique dispose d'un énorme potentiel en ressources naturelles. Ce potentiel reste sous-exploité ou alors son exploitation n'intègre pas la transformation sur place qui est susceptible de générer de la valeur ajoutée et de la richesse sur le continent. L'Afrique ne représente qu'une portion congrue des ressources financières en circulation dans le monde. Son accès à ces ressources se fait à des taux prohibitifs et parfois des conditions restrictives de souveraineté de nos États.
To talk about the crisis, he's dodging to talk about the economic crisis they have.
Trop dépendante de l'aide publique
it has nothing to do.
Qui semble ne plus correspondre à nos besoins. Le cadre juridique qui gouverne généralement l'obtention de financement est très contraignant et accroît notre exposition aux risques budgétaires et de stabilité de nos institutions. Comme exemple de contrainte, la mise en gage de certaines ressources naturelles sollicitées par certains investisseurs. Les modèles et instruments de financement adoptés contribuent davantage à la réexportation des capitaux à travers des prêts sans mouvement de fonds vers le continent, mais avec des sorties obligatoires de devises lors des remboursements. L'une des solutions passe par le financement de l'exploitation et de la transformation des ressources naturelles de l'Afrique sur son sol. Pour cela, l'Afrique a besoin d'un volume important de capitaux à long terme Il serait donc souhaitable d'œuvrer à la mise en place d'un véritable marché africain des capitaux, susceptible d'offrir des outils adaptés au financement du développement de l'Afrique, ce qui permettra sa transformation structurelle et son indépendance progressive de l'aide au développement et des crédits à l'exportation. En souhaitant plein succès à vos travaux, je vous remercie de votre aimable attention.
Let me put this. Let me put this. So as you saw, it is just something that one cannot explain, because one cannot explain. Using Biya is that kind of person who is just taking advantage of situations, and let me play this. Look at this photo. I like the comment of this photo. They say, when the White House is ready to receive the worst, longest serving dictator and genocide perpetrator in the world, what could be the stakes? Okay, Biya is the architect of genocide, is the worst dictator in Africa, but you invite him at the dinner table. What about the visa ban? What about sanctions? What about forcing him to go to negotiation table? All those are things that we are expecting. Okay, we are expecting that. Not welcoming a dictator who has killed thousands of our people, who are still putting our people in jail now. What else can I say about 40 years of failure, 40 years of dictatorship? How do you go? When I saw President Biden's video supporting the apartheid regime, I was so happy. What has changed along the way? It's funny because I don't know how you give this kind of platform to this kind of person who is a criminal. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. He should not be given any platform like this, because it tells the other leaders that they can kill, they can commit genocide, they can jail anybody. America will still welcome them. America, a country that we respect, its human rights record, we respect it. As of the one we know, America has been an example. But this is not something that you have to talk about anymore, because it just pissed me off. Yes, just pissed me off. Yes, it's so sad that we have American government who knows Paul Biya is a criminal. You are inviting this man. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense to anyone, because I expected. Let me change that. Let me play this one. So, ladies and gentlemen, we have seen all these things, and tomorrow we want to tell the world that we are not in accordance with that man called Paul Biya. Tomorrow the march will be huge, so please come in your numbers. Come in your numbers. I know some people are already gone, so tomorrow, let me play. Yep. Right. Look at things that this Biya regime has been trying to do. They fail. They don't go to negotiation. They say they did the effective decentralization. Then they gave us special status. Okay. They don't want to go to the root cause. They don't want. Yes. They know root cause is a trap. Okay. It's just, it's sad that they know the reality. Yeah. They know very well. Biya is happy to be welcome. Is you know, but tomorrow will be the day for him. Yes. You see the population that will come. The population that will come and tell him that he's not welcome in America. Yes. Yeah. Yes, so it's so sad. Yeah. So let's take a listen to
the moment has come that all of us Amazonians in the diaspora, particularly here in the USA, to send a strong and clear message to the assassin, Paul Biya, who is now in Washington, D.C., and those beggars and hand clappers hanging around him, that we are more than them. That is the subject of the message I bring to you today. I am Chris Ano, your comrade in arms for a free and independent Southern Cameroon. Today is Tuesday the 13th of December in the year of our Lord 2022. Cameroon's President Paul Biya sneaked into Washington, D.C. on Saturday to attend this year's U.S.-Africa Leaders Summit. It is very obvious, by reason of his fragile health condition, that Mr. Biya is in the USA, not so much because he loves it. He is here because he wants to prove a point to those who have long held that no American administrator can invite a genocidal perpetrator like Paul Biya to come sit among freedom lovers in America. Only 2 years ago, former President Donald J. Trump literally stripped Biya's country of this very privilege of visiting America and sitting among other African leaders in this same setting. But that wasn't all. President Trump discontinued America's military support to Cameroon, which was geared towards fighting Boko Haram. It further dismissed the Cameroon from AGOA, Africa Growth and Opportunity Act. For your interest, AGOA allows African countries to sell goods to the United States on a duty-free basis. But citing, and I quote, persistent human rights violations, end of quote, in a letter to Congress, President Trump suspended Cameroon. In suspending Cameroon, he also stated, and I quote, despite intensive engagement between the United States and the government of Cameroon, Cameroon has failed, he said, to address concerns regarding persistent human rights violations being committed by Cameroonian security forces, end of quote. Trump said this in a message to Congress in November 2019. We take particular note here, ladies and gentlemen, that Cameroon's rebuke and suspension from AGOA was still deemed necessary in spite of the holding of their so-called Grand National Dialogue, which was supposed to profess solutions, remedy to this current conflict. Grand National Dialogue was meant to address such abuses and violations, human rights violations, as stated by the U.S. President. It failed to do so, which is why only a month later, America slammed Cameroon with sanctions. We cannot also forget that only in April this year, President Joe Biden's administration tacitly reprimanded and indicted Cameroon on the basis of her human rights records by including Cameroon immigrants in the TPS program. The TPS offers temporary protection from deportation for qualifying immigrants who are living in the USA and who come from designated nations deemed unsafe to return to because of war, hurricanes, earthquakes, or other potentially hazardous conditions. In qualifying Cameroon immigrants for the TPS, the Biden administration cited, like in the case of former President Trump, Cameroon's abysmal human rights record. The report stated particularly that, and I quote, the primary reason for Cameroon's designation is the extreme violence between government forces and armed separatists from the terrorist organization Boko Haram and from other vigilante groups, the report stated. It continues, civilians have faced human rights abuses by both government and separatist soldiers, as well as the consequences of economic deterioration from violence and the armed forces' attempts to impose order. Thousands, it says, have died, and hundreds of thousands more have been displaced. The Department of Homeland Security estimates approximately 11,700 people from Cameroon are eligible to file TPS applications, the report stated. This background, ladies and gentlemen, is important. It connects us to the present invitation of Paul Biya to the USA by President Joe Biden, and questions the merit of that invitation. Everybody is aware that the humanitarian situation in Cameroon and the southern Cameroons in particular hasn't changed. If anything, it has worsened since 2019. Many more people have been killed by the Cameroon army, even more than doubled the numbers in 2019. The number of people picked up and thrown in jails has more than quadrupled, not to talk about disappearances. Hundreds of those detainees have died and will never be accounted for. We have more refugees now than we did in 2019. Mass graves have been spotted all over the country from Yaoundé to Biya, Bamenda to Ngaribo. International calls for internationally supervised inclusive dialogue without preconditions have been shown by Cameroon. The Swiss showed up and tried mediation for about 3 years, but Paul Biya walked off the initiative. And now, he is rewarded by the American government with a luxury trip to the land of the brave and the land of the free. Talking about double standards here. As immigrants to the USA, some who would not think for themselves have always been told that the Democratic Party is the one that cares for the poor and the oppressed. We have always been made to believe that the Democratic Party is that party that fights and stands for the powerless. But what the leader of the Democratic Party, Mr. Joe Biden, had just done, ladies and gentlemen, inviting a genocidal perpetrator, dictator Paul Biya, to descend on American soil to call the bluff of people whose children he has ordered to be murdered, raped, and tortured. People whose homes have been razed down on his orders. People who can no longer go back to their ancestors because they fear arrest. Is a travesty of justice. Who says Donald Trump was a madman? He may have been a madman, but a madman certainly had human feelings. He felt the sufferings of others and he did the right thing. Now, this is certainly what you are going to hear after the assassin, Paul Biya, must have left Washington, D.C. You will soon hear that Cameroon has been readmitted into AGOA. You will also soon hear that America is restoring military cooperation with Cameroon and that the support will, however, be directed towards targeting Boko Haram. Then, La République du Cameroon newspapers and their choir houses called television will salivate for what a great leader the assassin Paul Biya is. How you went to America and met Biden, and the separatists couldn't stop him. How the diaspora could not even show up for something as simple and easy as a protest rally. And how all Cameroonians, including those who like to refer to themselves as Anglophones, line up with a green, red, yellow flag, plus traditional dances to herald the head of state, the assassin. Fellow Ambazonians, I sent you a voicemail the other day, intimating that this is the moment we know who amongst us is truly angry enough about the pogroms and the burnings that Paul Biya's army have perpetrated on our families and our people back home. You have seen in pictures the meager dozens that showed up, hiding their faces from cameras to clap for Paul Biya in front of COMRADE Hotel in Washington, D.C. We need to send a message to Paul Biya and those beggars. And the message should be that those of us who detest them, who hate them, those of us who just doesn't like what they do, their support for the dictator, and those who support him, ladies and gentlemen, are much, and those of us who are against them are much more than them. We need to demonstrate the power of Ambazonia diaspora, if indeed you believe in one. We have to attest to our resolve against him, our disapproval of his invitation to America, and our unity for a free and independent Ambazonia. We need to take the message to them, the State Department and the White House, that though they intimidate us with search warrants and arrest, we are not scared. We are not deterred. We are not fearful. We are not cowards. We will fight and fight and fight until Paul Biya's government come to the negotiation table to have an honest conversation on the true root causes of this conflict. This is our mission. We are not terrorists. We are not rebels. We do not seek to overthrow a government. We seek to obtain, to restore our own country, the independence of Ambazonia, the southern Cameroons. We have to send that message on Wednesday the 14th. Whether it snows, rain, or shines, we must make up our minds to defy any form of weather to be in Washington, D.C. However, should you decide to stay home for others to go, then I must tell you, you are not worth a free country of your own. This is no price compared to that which our families back home continue to pay. When I made the announcement of this rally, I thought that we should include a ground zero lockdown to it. But I had a second thought about it. Why should ground zero be locked down over something happening in faraway America? Aren't they sacrificing enough already? This is the turn. This is the turn of the diaspora. America in particular, and thank God it's only for a day. A day compared to the daily pain on ground zero. Please, please, please put everything aside on Wednesday and let us converge in Washington, D.C. in our thousands and tell those beggars and Paul Biya the assassin that we are more than them, than that we are more resolved than them, even though we may not have their money. We must tell them that our brothers, sisters, mothers, fathers, and children have not died in vain. If you should forget anything, ladies and gentlemen, fellow Ambazonians, please remember General Ivo Mba. Remember F.M. Chacha. Remember Tom Sawyer. Remember Mami Api. Remember the Kumba School massacre. Remember the massacre in Ngarebo. And above all, remember Field Marshal the King. Remember him. Get your placards. Get your banners and print anything you want on it, whatever is in your heart. And your national colors too. Let's confront the assassins in Washington, D.C. They can search my home 1,000,000 times. That will never intimidate me. I am going there. I am going to meet Paul Biya face to face in Washington, D.C. That is, if he will have the guts, ladies and gentlemen, if he will have the guts to show up where we wait for him. God bless you all. Thanks for listening. Again, this came to you from your comrade in arms, Chris Ano. And please make sure this message gets into the next gadget, the next person, the next phone. Thanks for listening.
That was President Chris Ano there, and we have seen all the manipulation going on. We have seen everything, and the analysis is quite clear. So it's sad when we see this happening, and all this manipulation going on, and we are like, wow, what is going on? We expected the United States to show a good example, inviting someone like Biya, one of these dictators, wasn't a good idea. Okay, so that's why we were saying that it was not a good idea. So tomorrow is a day for marching. Yes. Tomorrow, please don't forget. Let's come in our numbers to come and show the world that Ambazonia is united. Ambazonia is one. Okay? Thank you very much for watching, and see you all tomorrow. Okay? I'll be live tomorrow. Yeah.